And having a baby, first of all, brand new babies are so fragile. You're like scared to hold them.
They're
It's your
so
first
terrifying.
kid.
I can't imagine 5.
But that small,
Was she in the NICU?
It was scary. She didn't have to go to the NICU.
Iconic.
But in the long run, she probably should have went to
Yeah.
the NICU from what. So then we went through something really hard.
Mhm.
So we go home trying to acclimate to baby. And I think I was already feeling sad. Maybe these like blues were coming along. And I maybe just thought maybe this is normal and all the hormones. It's exhausting. The
hormones,
crying in the middle of the night.
Yep.
Just being like, oh my God, Jake and I, my husband, we're responsible for this kid's life.
Mm-hmm.
And that responsibility is so scary when you're like a very free-flowing couple that, you know, we both work, we're both independent, we love going out, and your life changes in the best way possible.
But it's so different.
But it effing sucks in the beginning when you are
Yeah.
not ready for this. And I'm not going to feel bad for saying that.
Mm-mm.
It sucks in the beginning if you're not, if you're used to such independence and going. I was like, oh my God, I love this being so much. I started noticing when she was about 6 weeks, something seemed off. RSV was going around, all this stuff. And I called the pediatrician and I said, I think something is going on. And they said, well, she's probably growing. And so sometimes they stop eating as much and they're just very tired. And I kept saying, I don't agree with this. They're like, we don't want to bring her in because of RSV. Let's just do a call and blah, 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 blah. We had a night nurse and I told her, I said, Lily just seems off. I can't pinpoint it. I don't know.
Was she extra sleepy?
Sleepy, not latching onto the nipple of the bottle. Just like it just seemed off. I looked at the nurse that night and I said to her, if God forbid anything ever happened and you sensed anything, you'd wake me up, right? And she said, yeah. So that night at 2 a.m., she was banging on my door and she was like, Lily's like lethargic, like, sorry, something's wrong. And I'm like telling my husband, I'm waking Jake up. I'm like, something's wrong. And we live, thank God, very close to Cedars. So we went straight to the emergency room. And because she's a baby, they took her right into triage where they check everything. They do all the vitals and all that. They rushed us into a room, then rushed us into another room. 5 doctors walk in, 10 doctors walk in. There were 50 doctors in there. Her heart rate was almost 280. She was dying. She was like having a heart attack. Her arrhythmia was so crazy and they couldn't stop it. They first put ice on her to recatch her breath. It wouldn't work. They're giving her all these medicines. It's not working.
Did you have to watch all of that?
Yeah.
No.
And I'm like in the hall, like shaking, and Jake's in there. Thank you. Sorry, I didn't even think this. I'm so sorry.
Don't be sorry.
That's crazy that you were watching, but you should be with her.
And then 1 second, like the heart rate dropped. So we're thinking, oh my God, she's coming out of it. And then it shot right back up again. And everyone's yelling, whoa, like hearing all these noises. And before I knew it, they're like, we have to resuscitate her because she was dying. To see your 6-week-old baby be resuscitated was just something I don't wish on anyone.
It's horrifying.
Anyone. And the next 2 weeks, we did not know if she was going to live or, nothing. It was horrible. Lily was intubated, breathing tube, feeding tube.
Jesus.
She was on the highest dose of narcotics. She was out of it. And I was just in there. We were with her 24/7 playing Disney songs. And it was just horrible. I had to live in the hospital and I was like, my daughter, we had to talk about with the doctors, like, and our therapist, Jake and I were like, what are we going to do if she doesn't make it? Like, we have to talk about these things.
Yeah. You had therapy?
I had my therapist come to the hospital.
Yeah.
We're so grateful that my parents live close and my dad's a doctor, that he was communicating with all the doctors. And anyway, it took days and days to get her out of that high arrhythmia. When a lot of kids that will have that, they find the right medicine and they get out of it. She couldn't get out of it. So I'm like, what is this?
Her heart was just like going extra fast.
Yeah. I'm like, what is this going to take? And they're trying to explain to me, and they're like, Lily has something called SVT. And I was like, what is that? And they said, it's called supraventricular tachycardia. It's like a child arrhythmia. Adults can get it. A lot of adults have it, and they take medicine for it, and they get it under control. But because we don't know how long hers was going on for, and they couldn't control it, it was so severe. We couldn't get her out of it. We were trying one drug, two drug. And every time she'd go back into it, they'd have to restart this clock. So I keep thinking about this fucking clock in her room on top of her hospital bed, just to see her baby just laying, it's just horrible. And it was the most terrifying thing ever. And then one time she went like 12 hours without having it. And we were like, oh my God, this is amazing. Maybe she's going to have it. And I was holding her. And then we found out that one of her IVs got unplugged from one of the nurses.
What the fuck?
So it restarted all over again.
Oh no.
The trauma from that.